Hi guys, it's Deathmark here. Today I'm going to be talking about some really interesting Easter eggs that I can actually do in Haven's Hollow, the brand new Warzone Resurgence map that's currently came to the Call of Duty series since the beginning of Black Ops 7 Season 1. Now basically, for those who don't know, I'm going to start this off probably from the easiest to the hardest, I would say. So basically, once you've completed all 6 of these Easter eggs, you can actually really interestingly obtain a really interesting looking camo. Not animated sadly, but I'm going to first of all start off with, actually believe it or not, the last Easter egg that I actually managed to actually complete, and that was the Jackalope Easter egg. Now the Jackalope, which is a very small looking bunny rabbit that's got antlers, is actually hopping around the island and the map, I should say. And you can find this at the pond point of interest. Now, this usually spawns, it actually can spawn at random, but basically what we're looking for is a bunny rabbit hopping around the area of the pond with a blue smoke, I suppose, emitting from it, or some blue footprints. This can actually happen randomly at any point in the match, but so if you guys want to get your best shot at this, 9 times out of 10 it can actually come from the Hunter's Lodge at the top left corner of the POI, which you'll see in a few moments time. Now basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to eliminate this rabbit called the Jackalope, and basically once you find that Jackalope, the main aim is to get the Jackalope trophy that it drops and take this to the L-shaped building to the northwest of pond. You guys can see it in the background video there, top of the hill there. But once you've got this done, you'll see it in a moment, that me actually spotting this really interesting Jackalope in a few moments time. Now if you want my recommendation on where is the best place to camp out, I suppose, it's most likely going to be one of the rocks, either this rock here next to the pier, or if you notice that that log or tree that's collapsed into the water there, just out of shot, you'll notice that rock is probably the best place to be, in all honesty. But you want to keep an eye basically around the bridge. Is that log I was talking about, this little rock right here. You guys will notice that bridge on the right there, as well as the H-shaped building on the left, as well as the building, the L-shaped building called the Hunter's Cabin, I think it's called. So that is really interesting. But what you guys need to keep an eye out for, it can happen at any point in the match. It can spawn where that bridge is on the right, or it can spawn pretty much up that hill, which it can happen. Or you'll notice a train track to the left, a derailed train on the left with that tunnel. And that's actually, believe it or not, where I actually spotted it. Here it is. You'll notice that little blue puff of smoke, and if you need to be super quick, it can move absolutely fast. Unless you're super accurate, you need to have a really good long range and short range weapon for this. So as you guys can see, I've just picked up the Jackalope trophy there. All you need to do is just make it way over to the fireplace here in the cabin. And as a result of this, you will actually earn a really interesting couple of specialist perk drops. As you guys can see, mount the fabled Jackalope trophy to the hunting lodge wall. And as you guys can see, this is the actual camo for completing all 6 side quests on Haven's Hollow. You will see some footage of that later on in this video, and I will remind you guys at the end of it as well. Next up, we've got the Waterfall Cave Easter egg. Now this is probably the second easiest, I would say, but bear in mind this can be a bit of a hot drop, so I would recommend make sure you guys try and get to be the first one there. But you'll notice at the top, or the north part of the map, you'll notice there's a waterfall. But you do need to land fairly high up the waterfall in order to get your best chances of getting inside. Because you only can do this either if you get a lucky respawn or at the start of the match. Now, somehow I managed to survive that. I'm not quite sure how. But at the back of this area, you'll notice there's a scroll or a map. And these images, specifically this one that I got, which is signifying the graveyard from Liberty Falls, actually has an X marks the spot, red X on it. Now what you guys need to do is, depending on what image you get, bearing in mind it will be different for everybody, you need to make your way down to that location, and as a result, now as you guys can see, I've just spotted it for the first time. Now this actually does match up with the image that I received. You'll get the prompt to dig, and once you start digging, you'll actually earn 20,000 cash and a pretty cool calling card that either goes by the name of the Waterfall Cave. I think it also goes in game by the name of the Plan. So that is really cool little Easter egg there. Let me know what you guys' views and thoughts are. There you go. As you guys can see, there it is, called the Plan. Dig up the buried hidden treasure. Next up, we've got the really interesting one called the security booth. Now, all you have to do, guys, is make your way down to this easternmost building here at the research centre. Now, I would recommend, you'll notice that you'll get some really interesting servers, and you got 3 different coloured lights. Now, these lights represent different computers that you need to interact with. Now, the computers themselves are split on 2 levels, so the ground level and the floor level above. So basically, the idea is you need to go to the computer that is marked red on the server. Now, the first red one I believe I got was the first one on the upstairs level. Now, if you were to number these like left to right, 1 to 7, I think I got the rightmost one, if I'm not mistaken. But once you get 1, you will notice it either turn orange and say cleaning, or it turns red and it says virus or something similar, if I recall correctly. So here's my first one, cleaning, as you guys can see. So that was the first successful one that I received. So I made my way back downstairs, taking out this enemy as I do so. But the idea is, once you get 1 complete, you'll notice when you go back to the server that the next one will turn red. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to make my way over back to the server room, and you'll notice that the next one turning red is the 2nd floor and computer number 4. So I'll make my way back upstairs once again, and find the 4th computer, which if I'm not mistaken is, I would probably recommend counting this out. So that's 1, 2, 3 there, 4's on the right here. So that's number 4. There will be others as well up there, so make sure you guys do bear that in mind. And this 3rd one, you don't, if you guys got a good memory, you don't need to look at the 3rd one necessarily, but the 3rd one for me was the bottom floor and computer number 7, which I believe, not mistaken, is this one here. So once I get all 3, you'll notice all the computers will turn on. After doing this, all you have to do is make your way inside this little room, and you'll interact with these computers. You get a 6-digit code which you need to remember. Bear in mind it will be different for everybody. So I made a note of that 6-digit code, and basically once you've memorised that, make your way over to the office building on the other side of the research centre, and you'll come across a keypad with a locked door. Enter in your 6-digit code that you've hopefully memorised. In my case it was 629849. You'll get some really cool looking calling cards for the security booth. You get an advanced UAV, you get all sorts of legendary chests. So this is worthwhile going for if you haven't already done so. You'll also get a self-revive kit and pretty cool looking stuff, if I do say so myself. Really keen to hear what you guys' views and opinions are of that in the comments box down below. And there, as you guys can see, is the pretty cool looking calling card called Error Syntax that you get for completing that Easter egg. Now next up we've got the Cowboy Easter egg. Now this is probably slightly easier than the second one that I showed you, or the more recent one that I've just showed you. So basically all you need to do is you need to make your way down to Main Street, or just outside of Main Street and in between Riverboat. So Main Street and Riverboat, you'll come across some really cool looking Western themed buildings that you guys will see in all sorts of different cowboy films. But the idea is you need to interact with this looking interesting like cowboy hat. Then make your way upstairs into this brick looking building, the most rightmost of these 3 buildings, And at the top level on the attic, you'll notice there's some cowboy boots sitting on some boxes there. And the next one, if I recall correctly, I was looking all over for this. I thought it was in the middle building, but it turns out it wasn't the case. It's actually in the far end building. And what you're looking for is a bandana. And once you've collected that bandana, you'll actually earn some pretty cool looking stuff. I don't know why I was in this building, to be honest with you, but I'll move on to the next spot where I find it. So I'm in the right building now, which is this building just to the left or right, depending on which way you look at it. You'll notice there's this bandana, cowboy bandana, on the shelf. Now once you've collected all 3 of those items, bear in mind if you do get eliminated at any point when holding these 3 items, you can actually lose them in your inventory to an opponent. So bear that in mind here, guys. Then once you've done all of this, all you need to do next is you need to make your way down to this really cool looking cardboard cutout. Now you'll have seen these at various different carnivals and things like that, where you could poke your head through, and as if you you know, doing all sorts of various different things. But this one is actually a most wanted type poster with a sheriff next to it. But the idea is to actually crouch down to the lower circle and poke your head through. You'll get a flash of white light, and then this starts off the next challenge. And it mentions that you're wanted. So basically the idea is to either outrun or kill the sheriff that is hunting for you. Note that you will be able to see the sheriff's location and he'll be able to see you. So that is, bear in mind. So it's kind of like a double bounty, if that makes sense. Now interestingly, if either if I get the kill, if your teammates get the kill, or something, or if another random enemy gets the kill as well, that actually does count towards the actual completion. However, if the sheriff kills you, you failed and you have to start again next match. So bear that in mind, guys. Let me know what you guys' views and opinions are of that in the comments box down below. And as a result of that, you should obtain a dead or alive emblem. Become wanted and successfully outrun the law. So that is really interesting to think about. Let me know what you guys' views and opinions are of that in the comments box down below. Now next up we've got the Pied Piper Easter egg. Now what you guys need to do is make your way down to Mansion, and then basically the objective is to basically get the fuse from the back of the Shattered Veil elevator in the middle of the mansion. Please excuse my stick drift. But basically what you guys need to do, pick up the fuse, and basically what you then need to do is take this to one of the outbuildings and the outskirts of the mansion POI, which you guys will see me doing during this video. And it is important when you have possession of the fuse that you don't get eliminated, so I'll probably get a couple of teammates to have you watch your back. So once you've got this activated, you don't have to get necessarily worried about getting eliminated at this point. But basically what you guys need to do is make your way back inside the mansion, and you need to obtain or look out for 3 different cheeses. And once you find a specific cheese, the idea is to actually destroy the mousetrap next to it. Now I do know of a few spawn locations now, which I will leave linked on in the description, so make sure you guys do check that out. There's a few that I'm currently checking at the moment. There's like the bar location, which you guys have see me looking at there. There's usually a cheese up on that, and the mousetrap is usually behind like the counter itself. And I think the last one that I did actually manage to find, I think, was in the storms. So I'm going to see if there's another location on that little shelf next to the microwave there, by the way. There's another one at the grandfather clock, which you guys may have noticed me heading towards when I enter the building for the second time. So bar's another location. There's like another one on the counter right here next to the next to the spiral staircase. There's another one through these double doors. Make a right, and you'll notice that these little coolers, blue coolers, and opposite that is the mousetrap next to the server. Now, if you do this correctly, you will actually notice some mice squeaking. Now, if you do get that mice squeaking noise, the idea after that is I'll put a really interesting note on screen. Now, you guys will actually notice these pressure plates play different notes of music. The ones that you're interested in looking for is E, D, C. And that's a lowercase c. Bear in mind there is two C's on this. But interestingly to note, these are the first three notes of the what's the one I'm looking for? Children's song. I think it's probably the best way to describe it, or nursery rhyme, Three Blind Mice. So 3 blind mice. So what you guys need to look for is find EDC in that order, and if done correctly, this should happen. A really interesting bunker appearing from underneath the actual fountain itself. Now the perks of this is it can actually give you a really cool safety zone, and you get all sorts of various different legendary loot. There's also a ghost perk in there, I believe, as well as some really cool interesting rewards. Now to activate the safe zone, I suppose, which is temporary for only about a minute or so, is it can actually provide a safe area that you can actually use, which is really beneficial, especially when you're in the storm and taking damage. Now I'm actually going to respawn at this point, so I'm just going to show you exactly what happens. Now when I make my way back down here, you will actually notice that when you interact with the button at the bottom of the bunker, as you guys will see from this gameplay, you can actually earn a really cool safety zone that I think only lasts for about minute and a half, I would like to say. So it gives you a little bit of beneficial time. As you guys can see on the mini-map there, it's created a little square safety zone that you can actually use. There's not really, you don't get much from this, but I believe, if not mistaken, rewards wise, you can actually earn a pretty cool one called, and as a result, as you guys are currently seeing on screen, you can actually earn the Dock weapon charm. Appease the rats when the tune they seek. So that is pretty cool, worth going for, guys. Let me know what you guys' opinions are of that in the comments. And last but not least, we've finally got the Blood Moon Ritual Easter egg. Now this takes place at the mansion, and basically you need to look for the attic. Once you make your way down here, I am using my good buddy DK Dynaman's gameplay for this, because the majority of my gameplay was just I was running around like a headless chicken, didn't know what I was doing. But the idea is you need to look for a sight grenade. Now there is a guaranteed spawn at this specific room, so you just need to keep an eye out for it. Once you find a sight grenade, you need to throw it in front of this really interesting, I don't know what the name of that audio device was from back in the day. Interact with the mirror, and basically once you interact with the note, you will actually notice that you get a little bit of a jump scare there, which you guys may have noticed just now. Now, interesting to note that after you see that jump scare, you're going to notice 3 different symbols, one of which appears on this really interesting skull right here. Now in this example, we've got what appears to be a teacup or a cocktail, if that makes sense. So that's probably going to be the best way of describing that. Then on the ground here, we've got another one, which is another symbol. Kind of resembles a question mark, I suppose. And there's a third symbol, which can be looked at when looking at the fireplace. So you do need to remember the 3 images, or the 3 emblems that you see. Now, once you've done this, you do actually need to get 3 different items. First of which can be actually obtained from this building right here in the top right corner of the map. And what you're looking for is a really interesting item called the Blood Vial. Now what you need to look out for is 3 of those white items that you guys just saw that he meleeed there. You just need to look for the one that's open, and that gives you that item there. And this one here at the coal area, you need to look for the actual yellow hard hat that's currently right side up, and that gives you the Eldritch Stone. And the final one can be found at the pond, which is the animal bones. So basically you need to look in 3 potential locations. That's one of them there. So you notice there's like 3 different piers at the pond, and once you've got all 3 items, make your way down to Barn, and you'll notice there's this ritual circle. Now this is where those 3 emblems that you guys saw a moment ago come into play. So you just need to match up the item that you saw with the blood vial, which takes it's basically placed on the exact same symbol. So you need to match the symbols up with the item. Once you've got all 3 matched up, you will actually get this really interesting Unundorn Soul Render sword. Now, basically the idea of this now is the person who picks up the sword is the person who actually only can use the actual melee weapon itself. Your teammates can assist, but the idea is to get 5 or 6 eliminations. And basically it's kind of like a little soul capture step, if that makes sense. So once you get 5 or 6 eliminations within the yellow ring, as you guys can see on the mini-map there, which is really interesting to take note of. Bear in mind, if you get eliminated while holding the actual sword, anybody can basically take over the progress of this specific step. But the idea is to try and design a pentagram using the enemy souls that you've collected. Once you've done this, you will get an old black screen there, and you will notice the blood moon in the sky. And basically that's what gives you this really cool looking calling card, which is, I think it's called Beginning and End. So that looks really interesting. I'm really keen to hear what you guys' views and opinions are. And basically once you've collected all 6 of those really interesting Easter egg items and rewards, you can actually obtain this really cool little camo here called Now You See Me. Now this is the actual camo that you actually can obtain from getting all 6 Easter eggs complete in Haven's Hollow. I'm really keen to hear what you guys' views and opinions are of this. Let me know in the comments box down below. There are also some really interesting little side missions where you can go down to the riverboat, and basically you can interact with a really interesting slot machine. If you get a jackpot, you can actually get 20k XP. Or 20k cash, I'd say, not 20k XP. So that is really interesting. Let me know what you guys' views and opinions are of that in the comments box down below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.